and salutations, everyone. I am Obsidian Veil, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Wednesday, as you can tell from my shirt and the hair, and I also have my Wednesday doll here with me as well. So what I'll be talking about, season 1 and season 2 of the show. And I wanted to also talk about the fan base and just my opinions of everything so far. I wrote a list of everything that I want to talk about, so it's going to be somewhat organized. And I wanted to mention that this is going to have a ton of spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, definitely go ahead and click out this video. Wait until you watch both seasons, because I'm going to be talking about season 1 and 2 in this one. But mostly about season 2, because that's the most recent one that I watched. We will talk about the fan base back and forth a bit in connection to each of the seasons, and I'm not going to talk about them just separately exactly. I'm going to have them together because there's a whole story together with it. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about on my list is that if you don't know by now, Wednesday Addams is played by Jenna Ortega, and she is phenomenal in this show. She does a really great job, and she definitely portrays Wednesday very well. And I know there was a lot of skepticism when she was first announced to play Wednesday Addams, and a lot of the fan base was just like horrible towards her. And I said, hold up, guys, let's give her a chance, because she could be the Heath Ledger Joker all over again, where people were judging him harshly, and he ended up being like legendary. And then she's doing really well too. So I think she's doing a phenomenal job, and that's just my strong opinion about that. And I was open to seeing what she would do in the first place. Yeah, I'm a big fan. It's pretty obvious because, yeah, I'm doing the shirt. I'm going to show you guys my shirt. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool, right? It's oversized because I like it comfy like that, but I just recently got the Wednesday doll, but I'm not gonna talk too much about that, even though I'm talking about the seasons, because I'm saving that for another video. So the first thing I want to talk about with this is the fan base immediately, because I just saw this on Reddit, and Reddit is so toxic. I cannot stand Reddit. The community of it is so toxic. And the Gothic community on there is super toxic. That's where the elitists go. You wonder what happens to all the Gothic elitists. They go there. And they are horrible on there. So Wednesday kind of falls under that, Gothic people who are fans of Wednesday, the Goth stuff, and just people who are non-Goth and they have opinions about Wednesday, because the fan base is a mixture of things. And I briefly mentioned this in a video where I was reviewing the Unhappy Meal based on the show. My opinion of the fan base, okay, so I love the Addams Family. I've been a fan of it for years. I like the original Addams Family TV series. I still watch it now, even though that was way before my time. I still enjoy it. Is this the Addams Family? I know a lot about it. So when I see some of the fan base though, and how they're just tearing certain things apart about the Addams Family and who portrays who, some of it I can get, and then some of it is just too much. The one thing that's circulating around on Reddit right now, which is irritating me to no end, and I'm going to say this right now because I know someone's going to say, oh, you don't understand this. The whole thing where people are trying to ship Enid and Wednesday is so fucking irritating to me right now. It is so sad that people can't see healthy female friendships without romanticizing it or sexualizing it. And let me tell you, when you try to tell these people that on Reddit, they're calling you homophobic. First of all, I'm part of the LGBTQ community. So, not straight. If you follow me on Black Silk Magic, you already know this. But they're calling people homophobic because people don't want to ship them. I think it's perpetuating stereotypes that close friendships between whatever gender that a person is attracted to, especially when you're in this community, you have to be attracted to them. Like, that's like saying me, I'm attracted to every woman because she's a woman and I'm attracted to women. And if I get close to them, that must mean there's something sexual or romantic is going on. That's really sad. That's really sad. And a lot of them are getting so angry in this Reddit community, saying that they should have been dating, or they have like a romantic undertone with their friendship. And I'm just like, how are you guys seeing that? And I have my own opinion about their friendship. I did not get that from them whatsoever. I got that they were close, and Wednesday found her friend, you know, her opposite, but also someone she's close to. And they are opposites, but they just work, you know. Speaking of Enid, they had an Enid doll. I only wanted Wednesday. Like, I'm not a fan of Enid. I just wanted to get that out the way, that I do not ship them, and I do not like the fan base shipping those two as more than just friends. Because even Enid in the series of season 2, she said that she's going to be single for a while, just like Wednesday. Wednesday's done with romance right now. So the fact that people are even pulling that up is just, grow up. Realize that you can have mature, healthy relationships with people without sleeping with them. Like, what is wrong? What is with people with that? Like, you can have closeness with people without sexualizing or romanticizing it. And some people were saying like, oh, well, if it was a straight couple and Enid was a guy, you wouldn't have to worry about that. No, I'd say the same thing. And then people are like, oh, but friends to lovers. I'm like, yeah, but not in this case. And I'm personally not a fan of that, because I feel like friends should stay friends. If something develops, that's their life. But I feel like romanticizing friendships is just toxic to me. Okay, there's a such thing as having healthy attachments, and forcing something like that is just not healthy. But anyway, the Reddit community, or anyone who follows that or ships them, are just totally going to come after me with that. And that some of them already have, and I don't care. So anyway, Wednesday season 1 versus 2. I like season 2 better. Season 2 had a lot going on. This one just had so much going on. Like, you had the storyline about the Hydes, and then you had the storyline about the Addams history, and then that kind of intertwined with the zombie, and it was just so much going on. We kind of work together. So I had some thoughts about Morticia and Gomez, some positive and some negative, and some of them are a pretty popular opinion about the negative part. But Morticia and Gomez Addams were played by Catherine Zeta-Jones and Louis Guzman. Forgive me if I don't say the names correctly. Their lack of chemistry is the most talked about topic of everything. And I'm going to agree with this, because I know it's not the 90s Addams family, but they don't have that chemistry. Like, even for Wednesday. I enjoy Gomez's acting, though. Like, I think he fits it very well. I think you see more of that in season 2 versus 1. Like, you only see Morticia and Gomez briefly, but in season 2, really, really, really fit it. Like, he just flows with it really well, and I'm just like, Louis Guzman is the new Gomez Addams. He's really good. Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia in this one, she was not capturing me very well with season 1 as the older Morticia. The younger Morticia, I have mixed feelings about her. I think aesthetically she looked pretty as Morticia, but I think she just didn't give that vibe to me. She just kind of gave me the vibe of like some normie girl with a black wig on dressed up for Halloween. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people were like, oh, she's gorgeous and all this. I'm just like, yeah, but whenever they flash back to those two when they were younger, I'm just like, I don't know. She just didn't feel like Morticia to me. But the younger Gomez definitely mirrors the older Gomez. So I think they did very well with that. I enjoy how this version of the Addams portrays the original. like the original drawings and cartoons very well. Morticia was originally taller than Gomez, but like in the 90s movies, they were the same height. So yeah, this is very, I like how they're trying to bring back the old style. And you gotta also look at the cartoons as well. Yeah, they're very close, very close. The thing is though, people were really harsh on this version of Gomez because they thought he was too ugly and making comments about his looks, but he's supposed to look unsightly. Like, he's supposed to look ugly because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So he fits this better. Raul was really good as Gomez. He was very, charming, spooky, but he wasn't supposed to be a super attractive guy. But he was. But I'm just saying. So this is something about the fan base is a little annoying because we will never get another Raul, Julia, or Angelica Houston. Ever. There will never be another like those two. And just leave it like that. Like, it's supposed to be like that. Like, Raul passed away, rest in peace. And Angelica said she would never be Morticia without her Gomez. She's never going to go back to that. So just enjoy the classics and stop comparing, because you're not going to get exactly the same, because there's no one like Raul. So, and Angelica Houston, she got older. I would love to see her make a cameo in Wednesday. So far, they already have 2 people that have a cameo from the original Addams family, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to talk about that too. Okay, this is a random thing, but that I don't hear anyone talking about, but I feel like it should be talked about. Morticia Addams was a victim of a real life situation that many women go through, even Gothic women, where they have to deal with abuse. And she was an abuse survivor, so that humanized her. I know, I'm not saying like the Angelica Houston version of Morticia wasn't humanized, or the Carolyn version of Morticia wasn't humanized. It's just like, it's talking about real life things that happen. And that's something I kind of wanted. I wanted some realism with the 90s one to make them feel more relatable. And this is something that's relatable. And I like that they brought that into there. It sucks that Morticia was stalked. And I'm glad that Morticia got justice for that in the first season. However, I don't understand Wednesday's and Morticia's strained relationship. Like, how did that start? Like, they don't really have a backstory. We're just supposed to believe that they are just having a typical mother and daughter strained relationship. Okay, so I'm a goth mom and I have teenagers. So that doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It happens out of somewhere. Something starts that. So I'm just wondering what that backstory is. I know Wednesday feels like she's always in her mom's shadow, but there's still more to that. Why does she feel that pressure? Like, I don't see any of the Addams like putting that pressure on her, like saying, oh, you should be more like Morticia, you should be more like your mother. Actually, I see them encouraging her to be herself. So I'm not really sure where she got that. Maybe it's just insecurity. I don't know. But I would have loved to have more backstory about that. So maybe in season 3, they will talk more about their backstory, because they got a little bit closer, like twice, like at the end of season 1. And then she's kind of distant with her again. And then they're more close in the end of season 2. And I'm just like, are they going to revert back to this again? But yeah, they have more in common than Wednesday realized. And it was nice to see that Wednesday was close to her father. I like their close relationship and that he's so supportive of her. But like, I just don't understand why she's closer to Gomez versus Morticia, because like in the original, I don't remember, in the original 90s one, I don't remember Wednesday being so distant with her parents like that. She's closer to her grandma too, who's also a raven like Wednesday. Like, is that Wednesday's future where she's gonna be like more like that? I think Wednesday's a mixture between how the grandma is and how Morticia is. Morticia's more of a romantic, gothic, spooky person, and Wednesday's more of just like, monotone, not showing emotions type of person. But you see like in the flashbacks that she had emotion, but she just shut that off because she got traumatized by losing her pet, and she said, I'm never going to cry again. And she was monotone after that. But I don't think Wednesday is emotionless. I think she sees no point in having emotions because she was emotional, but she was a child, like a much smaller child, but except when it comes to Enid. I like this portrayal of Uncle Fester so much. Like, his Uncle Fester was played by Fred Armisen, and he's so likable. Like, he's so kooky, he's so weird and just funny. He's just like, really? A werewolf and alpha? Wow. I heard he could rip these people apart. And I'm just like, I love him. He's so fucking great. And he's a player. Like, you saw him when he was locked up at that I think it's a institution, mental institution, not a hospital, I'm not sure. But he was like, oh, okay. Uncle Fester has game. Like, he ran game too. Like, he was always getting caught. He had all these IDs and stuff. He was just living his best spooky criminal life. Like, he was awesome. I like him in this one. I always like Uncle Fester. I like the original too, but I really like this one. Grandma Addams, by the way, I didn't mention her full name, was played by Joanna Lumley. And for some reason, with the original cast, when I was searching, they didn't have her name up there, and I wanted to know this woman's name because she's really good as Grandma Addams. I don't know if they mentioned her first name, but I don't remember them mentioning it. So if they did mention it, then I didn't hear it. Okay, so Enid was played by Emma Myers, and I personally thought, and this is my opinion about their friendship. I personally thought that Enid and Wednesday's friendship seemed to mirror Morticia and former Principal Weem's past friendship. Like, the aesthetic, dark and light aesthetic, that's a big one. And this is before they grew apart. Like, Gomez was never going to go for Weems. That's not his type. He likes spooky goth girl. And he chose very well with Morticia. So with Enid and Wednesday, unlike the popular opinions of people on Reddit who are shipping them as a relationship, I see Enid and Wednesday growing apart. Like in the first season, when I rewatched it, because I rewatched it before I watched season 2, I felt like they were not gonna last. Like, towards the end, when she showed emotion towards Enid possibly getting hurt, I'm just like, okay, cool. But in the beginning of season 2, they were kind of like not really around each other, and Wednesday was secretly hiding that Enid was supposed to die or whatever, and they were just getting distant. And then the new girl, Agnes, was more Wednesday's aesthetic, even though she was copying her. And I thought maybe she was going to be closer to Agnes eventually, but I can see Enid and Wednesday like growing apart. Like, I think one thing could separate them. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like how Morticia and Principal Weems was, but I could see, like, because they don't seem super close to me. Yeah, they actually seem more close in season 1 than season 2, in my personal opinion. I don't really see them really being friends outside the school. Maybe like while she's having adventures there and solving mysteries at the school, Wednesday, I can see them being friends, and I think eventually they are either going to get closer after Wednesday finds her, and I'm assuming in season 3. I'm hoping she finds her in season 3, because that's like where season 2 leaves off. She was pushing her away in season 2 again. When they first met, she was pushing her away because she was too happy and it wasn't her thing. And then they got closer towards together in season 1. And then in season 2, they were going kind of their separate ways again. And they were doing their own thing. I mean, Enid had her wolf pack and his new boyfriend, who turned out to be a jerk. And then Wednesday was off on solving the mysteries without Enid for the most part. And then everything kind of came together towards the end. But, like, they seem like they could separate pretty easily. Like, you know. But Enid was getting jealous of Agnes, because Agnes was always around. Agnes was very, very important in season 2, where Enid used to be. And Enid didn't have much of a purpose in the mystery solving this time. We'll see what happens. I'm interested in seeing how their friendship develops in season 3. But I absolutely do not see them being in a relationship whatsoever. So I'm not a huge fan of Enid in her human form, but she is absolutely badass as her werewolf form. And I think that it was interesting that she was an alpha. They're assuming she's an alpha, and I'm thinking she is. She's showing all the signs of it. So I'm like, how did she end up being an alpha? But like the tragic end of an alpha though, who gets stuck in their form, is just like, wow. She's terrified of that. She's terrified of being alone. So I also thought it was interesting that when Wednesday was in Enid's body, when they swapped, she had dark fur. And even though it was Enid's body, she didn't have the pastel hair. Whereas when Enid transformed in Enid's body, she had pastel hair and a lighter fur. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but that was interesting. Wednesday as a werewolf was badass. I'm surprised Wednesday didn't talk more about how she felt with that transformation, but then Wednesday is Wednesday. She doesn't talk about her feelings very much. But Pugsley, played by Isaac Ordonez, he is a very good Pugsley. I think so. I prefer this version of Pugsley versus a blonde Pugsley because just kind of... Okay, so I always assumed that the Addams family was Latinos. So, I mean, Gomez, at least half Latinos. Like, I don't know about Morticia. I used to think Morticia was Italian or something. In the 90s, Gomez, the original, was obviously Latino. And I just thought they were just like half Italian, half Latino. But the blonde Pugsley just didn't really go with that. Like, I'm just like, well, most Italians have dark color hair. And then you have Pugsley. Like, where did the blonde hair come from? Even Grandmama just didn't really... I guess she could have passed as Italian. This one, maybe. Grandma Addams, maybe. But, like, Morticia, I never thought she was Latina. I always thought she was maybe Italian. And even in this one, I'm still thinking Italian. Catherine Zeta-Jones is actually not Latina. So I did think she was for a while, but when I looked this up, she actually is not Latina. So it makes more sense for Pugsley to look the way he does in this one. The Pugsley in this one, played by Isaac, is actually Latino. So he had a major growth spurt. When I watched season 1 again and then watched the second season, he shot up. Like, he was like, oh, little Pugsley. And now, hey, I'm Pugsley. Oh, Pugsley? The heck? I think it's nice that, well, originally, I thought it was nice that the two Hydes, Tyler and his mom, reunited, because he was always talking about his mom and saying to his dad, oh, you don't care about mom? Why don't you ever talk about her? Well, now we see why, because she is fucking crazy and she did not care about anybody but herself. She tried to live normally and she couldn't. For some reason, I thought she was going to be the sister of Morticia. I'm like, is that Morticia's sister? It was a foreshadowing. Because later, you see Morticia's sister later. I knew her sister was still alive. I knew it. You see at the end, you don't see her face, but I knew she was alive. And I thought that Tyler's mom was Morticia's sister, but I was wrong. That was his mother. I was shocked to see Lady Gaga in this. Like, this is her type of vibe after American Horror Story. Yeah, definitely her vibe. I was expecting her to have a bigger role here. She did good for her short part, but she was a witch in this one. I think she was a witch, not a vampire or anything like that. But I don't know. I can't understand if she was alive or dead. I think she was dead. Rosalind seemed like, okay, this is my theory, and I don't know for sure. I might have missed something. Rosalind seems like she went to another plane of existence, but she's not actually dead, and she can come back. Or she's going to try to come back. I think she was trying to live in solitude for some reason, and she didn't want to be bothered. And I think Wednesday disturbing her is going to bring her back in season 3. That's just a theory, because I don't really think she's dead. I think she did something to her form. She was really powerful. I mean, Wednesday went to her, and Grandma Addams suggested her. So, yeah, I think she was really... I don't think we've seen the last of her yet. Not Lady Gaga doing a small role? Oh, no. Absolutely not. They also used Lady Gaga's song in this series, so no surprise there. You bring Lady Gaga, you got to use her music. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about how I felt about the new principal, Barry Dort, played by Steve Buscemi. I hope I'm saying that right. He was very manipulative, very, very manipulative, but definitely more interesting than Principal Weems. I mean, I liked his fire ability, even though he abused his ability as an outcast. I liked his ability. He knew how to get to the top, and he knew who to use and what to say to get to the top. I knew he was shady from the beginning. He was too happy. Don't trust anyone who's too happy. He was too, I don't know, he just seemed manipulative. I just got like a sense about that. His death was absolutely amusing. He deserved it, absolutely, but it was just amazing. I'm sorry. That's the goth morbid part of me. I was just as entertained as the Addams were when he died. Like being stoned and then crushed by the chandelier. I saw that coming. I definitely did. Around that time, not the whole series. I didn't think he was actually going to die. I didn't know what was going to happen to him. I thought maybe he might end up in season 3. So Wednesday and Tyler, oh man, let me talk about this, because this is also something they're trying to defend the Enid and Wednesday ship with. They're trying to compare it to Wednesday and Tyler, how toxic it is. Yeah. Tyler is played by Hunter Duhan. Yeah, they had a really toxic dynamic. Especially when she let him go. This kind of further just proved what I thought about them. I hope Wednesday finds a new, more suitable romance interest in season 3. I know she kind of took a break from it, but I hope she finds someone more suitable, more compatible with her. Someone who's not trying to kill her or hurt her. Something like Morticia and Gomez, how they found each other at that school. I hope she finds someone at that school in season 3. It's interesting that Enid said she was swearing off love for a while, like Wednesday, which I mentioned earlier, because her love interests were like terrible. She would not stop kissing people in that, and it was getting too much for me. Like, I'm like, okay, can we stop with this? Like, I like it, but she's just like, girl, take a break. Stop doing this. She hopped from that one guy to the other guy who was a werewolf, and she was just cold to the other guy. She was like, oh, I'm with the pack now, so yeah, I'm gonna stick to the werewolves. Yeah. And then he turned out to be playing her. Yeah. She was like, okay, I'm done for now. Y'all playing me too much. She can get mad though. When someone messes with her, she gets mad. She pulls her claws out. She has a temper on her. And I think that's maybe why she and Wednesday get along. Wednesday doesn't have a temper, but when she's out for revenge, she gets even like over even. And then Enid has a bit of a temper herself, but she is a werewolf, so it makes sense. So those two are compatible as friendships, just even though their personalities are different, they have traits that are very similar, that complement each other, just to say it that way, not exactly similar. I think it's the best path for her, because I'm interested in Enid's growth and how she navigates being an alpha. Now I'm more interested in Enid right now, because she is going down this interesting path of being an alpha, and that's a really interesting thing. That interested Uncle Fester. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens. Okay, so let's talk about characters that I did not care for, and I'm going to tell you why I don't care for them. Okay, Bianca. I don't care for her. Not the character exactly, just the actress. Bianca was played by Joy Sunday, and I'm not saying she's terrible at it, but she was okay for the part. But I feel like Tati Gabrielle, the chick from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, one of the 3 witches, she is the perfect actress for this. Like, she would have nailed this, blown it out the water. Bianca would have been unforgettable if they had this actress. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't know if she was busy or Tim Burton didn't consider her, but she would have blown this out the water. Bianca would have been an unforgettable character. I'm just gonna say that. Bianca now is kind of forgettable to me. She has cool eyes. She's a siren, and the story's interesting enough. But Tati would have nailed that much better. I don't know if anyone really thought about that, but I'm just saying that's my opinion. The character of Marilyn Thornhill, played by Christina Ricci. She was in the original Addams Family in the 90s. I loved her as the 90s Wednesday, but I did not like her character in this series. And they killed her off in the beginning of season 2 as well. I wish she had like a more long-standing character, because I think she would have been good here. They killed her off. Like, damn, like, why do you have to do that? Like, I wanted her to be in there much longer. Okay, so the next one is Isadora Capri, played by Billie Piper. I think I've seen Billie Piper playing in something else, and I just don't have a good opinion about her in general, but I don't even like her in this one. I think I tried to give her a chance in this one. I don't like her character. Something about her character and her presence just annoys me. Like, I feel like I just don't want her there. Maybe she plays a more essential role in season 3. I want to say good riddance to Xavier Thorpe, even though he's referenced in season 2. He's played by Percy Hines White, and the character's interesting. But I mean, I like his ability where he can sketch anything and then he can bring it to life. Me as an artist, I appreciate that completely. However, the real life actor, he didn't return to season 2 due to sexual misconduct allegations. And I don't know what's going on with that right now, but Tim Burton made a good move by not letting him come back, but he was still referenced. So he didn't really need to be in season 2, to be honest. But he still was helpful from behind scenes, even though the actor is just pretty much not coming back, to my knowledge. Okay. I'm also glad that the original Uncle Fester, played by Christopher Lloyd, is here as well. And he was the talking head. He had an important role, even if it was cut short, and I'm glad he was there. But he did not deserve such a horrible death in the hands of Isaac. Like, that was kind of sad. I mean, after that meeting he brought all the appendages together. I was just like, man, I'm seeing him differently. And then, oops, he dies afterwards. I'm like, okay. So you made him likable for a minute, and then all of a sudden he dies. Yeah, that was a bit sad. So they killed off the original Addams Family characters already. And I'm a little disappointed by that. I was hoping he was going to be there longer. But his part tied into the bigger story with his history with Isaac. The plot twist of Tyler's uncle, Isaac, being the brother of his mom and a zombie, who was originally called Slurp, was not expected by me. I did not see that coming. Like, that was a big plot twist. So even more so that he tried to kill him. The Addams have a lot of dark secrets around murder. I mean, it was just crazy that Isaac tried to kill him, and I don't think Isaac really cared for Tyler either, to be honest. I think he probably would have killed Tyler if his sister didn't say, hey, let's take his ability away. But Tyler didn't want his hide abilities taken away. But his mom was trying to warn him that he can't live without a master or you die. Which I don't understand that. They didn't really explain that in the series. Like, why can't they live without a master? That's a little strange. When I think of Hyde, I think of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I don't know where that reference came from. He never had a master. And it was interesting. See, the whole toxic relationship dynamic where Wednesday was saying the only way we could be together is if I'm your master. And Tyler didn't necessarily say no. So it's making me think, like, they're not done. And she also released him. He was just like, you released me? But he stood there and watched her get buried. But I saw a slight look of pain on Tyler's face when he was watching Wednesday get buried. I don't know. I don't think it's the end of those two. But I really do think that Wednesday deserves better than Tyler, like, for sure. Because he's no Gomez. Like, she deserves someone like Gomez. And Tyler is no Gomez. Okay, let's talk about Agnes. I mentioned her briefly in my last video about the Unhappy Meal. I didn't have any spoilers, but I'm definitely going to spoil it now. I like Agnes. I like the contrast. I think she looks awesome. I like redheads. I think, like, the contrast of her hair, even though she copied Wednesday, the contrast of her hair with the outfit stood out amazingly. She would make an awesome goth person. Even though she didn't remain goth and she eventually became more of herself, she looked like an interesting character. She's still creepy, but she was really good. I'd like her being herself, though, to be honest. But I liked her because she's creepy, but she pissed off Enid. You don't do that. But she's creepy and she's a bit annoying at first. But she was very helpful in season 2. And her changing her hair color at the end, I think she changed it or she just wore a wig. It was really weird. I said, okay, now at this point, I don't like you because stop trying to be Wednesday. And even Wednesday got irritated with that. And then eventually Enid was just like, be yourself. And Enid's more of a we're all white pastel type of person, but she was her own self. And Wednesday wants her to be herself. That dance sequence by Enid and Agnes was not Wednesday level, but it was really good. So I know someone. I thought about this because I didn't know their ages, the age gap difference. So don't come for me with this one. But I thought that if Enid was to go with someone and she did choose a girl, it would have been Agnes. But I didn't realize Agnes was much younger than her. So they did that dance sequence pretty well. I just hope people don't try to copy that trend. I haven't seen anything about it, so I don't think they were trendy enough for people to copy. Maybe some people might do it because it required two people, but they did not. They did a good job, but I just hope the fan base doesn't like start copying that and going crazy with it. But they didn't have a dance sequence with Wednesday, and I'm actually glad they didn't have that this time around. But Wednesday's outfit towards the end during that big event, she looked stunning once again. They made her look stunning again. She didn't dance, and I'm just like, thank goodness. Don't make her dance, please. And I said once again, they used Lady Gaga's song. If Lady Gaga is going to play in anything, you're going to use her music. That's what I've noticed. The last thing is, I'm shocked that Thing was the appendage of Isaac. And Isaac used to be Gomez's friend, but he wasn't truly a friend. He tried to use him and kill him. Thing felt incomplete without his body. And then when he found out who he was attached to, he became more powerful. I'm just like, Thing has power like that? Was it just Thing or was it Isaac? I couldn't figure out if it was Isaac and Thing together that brought that power, which was telekinesis, or does Thing have that ability of telekinesis on his own? And also, speaking of ability, you find out that Pugsley and Gomez both have an ability, and I remember Wednesday mentioning, how come you don't have an ability, father? And even Grandma Addams was insulting Gomez. And then saying he was just a normie, but he never was. And she found out he had an ability before. And she kind of looked stupid, but she wasn't going to admit that. And then Wednesday kind of broke her attachment to Grandma when she started insulting her father. Because I'm like, no, you can't do that because they have a close father-daughter relationship. So if you watched this whole video, thank you for watching. And please tell me your opinions about both of the seasons. Did you like season 2? Did you like season 1? Are you excited about season 3? This is Obsidian Vale, and I'll see you soon.